Hello everyone, and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast. Today we're going to be talking about Monolith Soft hiring a lot of new employees to work on the next Legend of Zelda project. For those who don't know, Monolith Soft has had a long history of working on Zelda games. They began working on Skyward Sword, and then they continued switching off to other Nintendo games, even Splatoon they worked on, and most recently...
Switching off.
Yeah. Most recently, they 170, or I think Aonuma said there was over 170 or 180 employees that Monolith Soft had working on Breath of the Wild, and that was on top of all of the people who actually worked on Breath of the Wild from Nintendo. There was also people from other companies that worked on Breath of the Wild. Tons of people that worked on Breath of the Wild. But this is for the next Zelda game, which Nintendo had already been working on since Breath of the Wild released. So why would Monolith Soft be hiring more employees at this point if they already had 170 people working on Breath of the Wild, unless they let some of them go where they're working on an entirely new game? So they had to hire more to help out with Nintendo, but then that just brings up the question, why wouldn't Nintendo, like if they're paying Monolith Soft all this money to hire people to work on Zelda, why wouldn't Nintendo save money and hire people themselves? That way they wouldn't have to pay the overhead of getting Monolith Soft. So the question is that everyone's been tossing around, is Monolith Soft themselves working on a new Zelda game that is different from the one that Nintendo is working on? Maybe it's a thing to where Nintendo's big Zelda game is going to take longer than expected, so they asked Monolith Soft to put together another quick Zelda game. When I say quick, that sounds bad, but if you remember, Majora's Mask was made in a year. Wind Waker was made in 2 years. So, it's not really that bad at all. Twilight Princess was going to be released in, I think, 3 years before they decided to completely change the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they changed that game. I believe there was a thing where they had a deadline, and there's an interview in the Iwata Asks where one of the employees says that Aonuma came in like a month before the deadline and was like, oh, we should change this. And then once that changed, they were like, we should change this and this and this. And they ended up completely changing the game around. So they ended up having to delay it for like another 2 years. Because
the Zelda game got delayed.
Yeah. Like the game was literally almost done, and then Aonuma was like, nope, let's make it completely different. Which happens when, like,
they should have delayed Wind Waker and put all those extra dungeons that they cut out into the game.
Yeah, so because it's like, in a way, if you think of it from Aonuma or one of their perspectives, like, they're coming in, they're seeing the same thing every day for years. So even though it's a new game that's not even released yet, to them, they could be like, well, this looks old, like it's not interesting anymore, even though when you first seen it, you might have been interested. But then seeing it so many times and playing through it 1,000 times, it gets old and boring, and you're like, oh, well, let's make something new. So it kind of makes sense, because what they could have had originally could have been better than what we ended up getting. It's just that where they had seen it 1,000 times, they're like, no, let's do something new.
Yeah. So, fair enough.
But anyways, Monolith Soft. They have a lot of experience working on Zelda games, so I would be excited to see what they could do with Zelda. I wonder what the situation is. Like, are they working on something new, or are they just hiring more people to help out on the next Zelda game? Because maybe some of the other people are working on Xenoblade 3 or something. Who knows? What are your thoughts, Daniel?
Well, yeah. No, so Monolith, they also worked on, or they did the Xenoblade games, right? So, I mean, it's possible that they're kind of, I don't know necessarily if they're working on more Xenoblade or something, but man, this banana is getting me hungry. They probably have projects of their own that they're working on, as well as assisting Nintendo with Zelda stuff. So part of me wonders like if what happened is they were making Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right? And Nintendo's like, hey, Breath of the Wild thing happening. You guys got to help us. So they split off the team, some of them to work on Breath of the Wild and some of them to continue working on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right? And now they want to continue helping with the Zelda, but they also still want to continue making their games. So they, I guess maybe my thought is, are making this split
David
more
donated
permanent.
$1 for the banana.
David, a different David than last time though. David Thompson, $1. Thank you, David. If you got a question or you want something to, you got to shout us out or say something, let us know right away. We'll drop it all for you, my friend. Chublima, no! You're wrong. Podcast is not better without you. You're wrong.
We began with bananas.
This is true.
Both of us began the podcast with bananas on our heads.
It's true. General Kenobi. Great username. But yeah, so part of me thought like they had to split the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 team.
Our donator, David Thompson, says, could it be possible that Monolith is hiring more people to work on a Skyward Sword remake? I say no, because I believe Tantalus is working on the Skyward Sword remake.
Okay, that's fair. Tantalus, we don't know what they're working on right now, right? So
yeah, they confirmed years ago they had an interview where the president person said they were working on several different unannounced Switch games. All of those games remain unannounced. So they could have 2 or 3 different Switch games. And the only thing that Tantalus works on, the only thing they work on is remakes and ports. So yeah, it's not like they're working on their own original game for the Switch because they've never done that.
Until now. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a first time for everything, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, odds are it's probably a remake. But my thought is, if they're assisting with just even less like making assets or, creating environments and stuff with Nintendo, and they had to split off their previous team, they're like, okay, well, if we're going to keep doing this, we got to have a team that's still going to continue working on our games, on like Xenoblade and that kind of stuff, and still have enough manpower to not have to split that team in half and be able to work on these other projects that Nintendo wants extra manpower for. So that's kind of my thought, is like them not wanting to divide their labor as much by just bringing more people in. So instead of splitting Team 1 to make Team 1 and 2, they can just keep Team 1 as Team 1 and just bring on a new Team 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my thought is with it. They're just like, okay, well, if we're doing all this extra stuff, we got to hire more people. And without compromising their own projects, right?
Yeah. You played Xenoblade, right?
No.
No? You played none of the Xeno games?
None. I'm a bad person gamer.
You know what they are, though.
I'm a fake girl gamer. I know what they are. I know that Shulk is really annoying in Smash because his counter has too large of a window. But...
Okay, well...
That's... I know of Xenoblade, and I actually think the idea is really cool. And I almost got Xenoblade Chronicles X on Switch. It was on my short list.
Wait, Xenoblade Chronicles X was on Switch?
Wii U.
Wii U, yeah.
On Wii U, my bad. I didn't get it on Wii U because I was looking at it. I was like, this game looks really cool. Maybe I'll get this. And then I thought, this is a game for the Wii U that the Wii U can't run without downloading like 8 gigs of like patches and stuff like that.
They were already working on a game for the Switch when they made it for the Wii U.
Yeah, like... that game was too much. They're like, if you want this game to run, by the way, you better download all these data packs because the Wii U ain't trucking on strong enough for this game.
Yeah,
damn,
Shadow
guys.
Plus, our Patreon supporter, says Xenogears needs a remake. Xenogears is the original series for Xenoblade because they have like 5 different sub-series in the overall Xeno series that goes all the way back to like the original Sega consoles. So like a lot of people think Xenoblade 1 was the first, and then It wasn't. But Monolith Soft made the DLC for Breath of the Wild that they added in there. That was probably like a free thank you from Nintendo for like having them
Chronicles
work on
stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it did at the time feel like out of place until I learned that Monolith worked on the game. I was like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably Nintendo being like, all right, we'll give you some free advertising. Zelda.
Yeah. What would be really cool is if
the gear was useful.
Yeah, but think about this. Think about this. So they already had like 170 plus people working on Breath of the Wild.
Right.
There was the interview a while back with the president, CEO, whatever, of Nintendo that said that they wanted to put a focus on online functionality and creating new DLC even for old popular Nintendo Switch games. So what if Monolith Soft isn't working on... Yeah, Mario Odyssey does need DLC. I thought that was coming like last year, but
yeah, me too, man.
What if Monolith Soft isn't working on a new Zelda game? Or they may be helping on a new Zelda game. But what if the main reason for this hiring is for them to create new DLC? Like Nintendo, their primary team, maybe some of the main people from Monolith Soft that helped on Breath of the Wild are all still working on the new game. But Monolith Soft is hiring to work on this new DLC that the president hinted at. That way Aonuma's not wrong. He isn't working on Breath of the Wild anymore. He's fully going forward with the next Zelda games. But Monolith Soft, on the other hand, isn't Nintendo. So they could be working on... What are your thoughts?
Part of me does wonder if there is A Link to the Past remake coming. If they're working on that. Or if you think probably Grezzo might be more... Probably Grezzo would be a better candidate, but... Okay, bye Jesse. Well everyone, now it's the Daniel show, so I'll tell you my thoughts about everything. One, I think Jesse's taller than me. And that just frankly intimidates me. No, it doesn't intimidate me. But I'll tell you a fun story. First time I met Jesse in person, you know, we'd been talking on the internet for like a year or longer. You know, we'd known each other for a while. And I walk into this Airbnb and he gives me a big hug. And I guess I had forgotten to tell him ahead of time that I just don't hug people. So like my whole like shoulders, everything like caved inwards. And also he's a lot bigger than me. He's a lot taller than me too. So he just basically engulfed me and I like got sucked into a black hole of awkwardness and just all of it just... So Daniel is short confirmed. It's true, Duck. It's true. I'm 5'10", so that's not super short, but it's a reasonable height, I feel. But then all my friends are taller than me, so like significantly too. Like they're all like 6'3" or something. So hey man,
hi, welcome
back. Hi. That was a great little story time. You'll find that out when you're editing later.
Nice. Need the Daniel show segment on every game's cast.
Yeah.
What's your height, Daniel?
5'10". 5'10".
Cool.
It's pretty not that tall.
Are we done talking?
I think so. I think we got the everyone got the gist of it.
All right. So tell us about Yoshi.
Sorry,
tell us about the Yoshi, Daniel.
Jesse is a hugger, confirmed. It's true. It's true, guys.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but sure.
Nothing bad. I'm a hugger. Anyway. Yoshi. Yes.
Again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.